Hey guys, we're back with the Screen Team. I'm Chris, and for this particular review, we've got Jake on the review panel, and I love having Jake on. But every time we seem to have Jake on, we seem to be reviewing a Tom Cruise film,
a Tom Cruise sci-fi film too.
It's not by design. It just kind of happens to be that way. But this next film we're going to review is a Tom Cruise film. It's called Edge of Tomorrow, and Edge of Tomorrow. I'm going to be honest with you. When this movie came out, I saw the trailer, and I had absolutely no interest in this film. At the time, Tom Cruise was kind of going through a little rough patch. Some of his movies were hit and miss. Mission Impossible was still doing good, but anything that wasn't a franchise was kind of down and out. So I didn't give this film much of a chance, but when it came out, it got some really decent reviews, and people continued to talk about it even after the release a few years ago. So I was like, let's give it a shot. Let's try it out, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, me too.
I enjoyed it a lot. It was really good.
Yeah, it was surprising. And at the time that it came out, about 2 or 3 weeks after it came out originally, I started hearing a lot of reviews on it, and had some websites that I follow. I was seeing like Edge of Tomorrow, you have to see this. And I think Jupiter Ascending and some other movies that seemed very similar. Just a lot of sci-fi action movies that kind of seemed, not quite A tier, and at least in my book of what a sci-fi movie should be, were coming out. And I'm like, it's just going to get lost in the fray. But no, this one, I really hope that this one has a cult following. Yeah. Much like Oblivion, which was another Tom Cruise sci-fi movie that was really surprising to me.
Another thing that was kind of a deterrent for me on this was that Tom Cruise, in the trailers, they show him dying, but coming back to life and reliving the same day over and over again. And I was like, this Groundhog Day? They couldn't come up with something new, but the way that they use it in the particular film makes sense. There's a reason why he keeps coming back each and every day, and they explain it.
Yeah, it's a really cool movie. It's like Independence Day and Groundhog Day put together into an actually pretty awesome action sci-fi flick.
Yeah. The film starts off, we're in this this world where we're being attacked by some sort of alien. Is that correct?
Yeah, they call them the Mimics.
Okay, the Mimics are attacking the entire world. They want to take us over and destroy the human population, basically. Tom Cruise, he's in the military, but he's more of a media relations guy. Is that right?
He's like a commander or a captain or something like that. But yeah, he's the PR guy for the military and for the new technology and the fight against the Mimics, which are these. I don't know. The alien design was just kind of seemed like, it's an alien. You know, it's an alien race that's pretty deadly to humans. Kind of these snaky lion fire things. I don't know what they quite were, but at first I'm just like, I'm not crazy about this, but I don't know. The design made sense as you get further into the movie. But Tom Cruise's character, he starts off, and the big general that's going to lead this big all-out offensive that's going to surround the enemy, and all these forces from around the globe are going to come together and defeat the alien race. He's like, oh no, I'm putting you on the front lines. That's how I'm going to put a good spin on this and get people behind this war.
I love that scene. Tom Cruise is like, with all due respect, sir, I'm not a fighter. I went to JROTC. This ain't my thing. I decline.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you don't understand.
Exactly. So he gets railroaded and dropped off as a private, stripped of all of his previous commands and everything like that. Sure. And and that's where you start getting into the point where you're getting into the day's cycling. He ends up on this big offensive, which ends out being a slaughter against the humans. By the way, some really cool future military technology in this one with like the exosuits, like the robot suits. That was really cool. And on that first day, he's sitting there. He can't even figure out how to turn the safety off on his How
weapons.
How
do you turn the safety off? Don't worry about it.
So it's really cool battle scene, and I think being able to repeat some of the same scenes a day probably saved him a little bit of money in producing the film.
That's a great idea. I didn't even think about that.
But I mean, I don't know. They had used different angles in the same shot, so maybe it didn't. Who knows?
You know who's awesome in this movie? Emily Blunt.
Oh yeah,
Emily. She's a great actress, first off, and she looks like she could just kick your butt without any problem.
Like a classic heroine out of an anime movie.
Is
kind of exactly. And there's some anime influence in this, and a lot of the fighting movement, and like the exosuits. That's a big thing in a lot of anime too. Is the mech warrior suits or whatever. So you've got a little bit of that Japanese influence, although it takes place in Europe. Essentially, it's kind of mirroring the like D-Day is kind of where it's kind of what if it's kind of what it's mirroring with this big attack that they live through over and over each day. And eventually, when Tom Cruise's character comes to, or Emily Blunt's character sees Tom Cruise's character on the battlefield, and she realizes that he's been there, he's seen this before.
Right.
And she says, when you wake up, come find me. So that way we kind of know that there's a connection between the two.
Sure.
So what's happened to Tom Cruise, he's not the first one.
Yeah. You had mentioned the aliens a little bit. Was there anything else in this film that you didn't care too much about? CGI? Some dialogue maybe? Was there, or were you happy with the entire thing besides the aliens?
Really, I mean, I'm really quite happy with the film. Altogether, it was really well put together. I didn't really, I think the alien design might have been the only thing that held me back. I mean, the alien design, it was, I don't know, it was kind of just a movie monster design. It didn't seem like it really stood out or was special.
Sure.
The only thing that really was special about it is, it kind of would spoil the movie, that I thought was really cool, is how it's, other movies have done this too with the aliens too, is it being kind of a hive mind kind of thing. But also there's a kind of a surprising power that's connected to why Tom Cruise can repeat that same day over and over again. So so I thought that there were some cool ideas behind the aliens, but the design of the aliens themselves are probably my only real downside to the movie. Yeah.
The movie kind of left us a little bit open for the possibility of a sequel. Are you down with an Edge of Tomorrow too?
Wouldn't they just call that one Tomorrow?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if it really needs to go there.
Okay.
I think it'd be the case of another one would just be another one. They maybe bigger, badder aliens. Kind of like, the reason I haven't seen the second Independence Day movie.
It's horrible, by the way. It's horrible. Oh, man.
I kind of sensed that.
and I knew it was horrible, and I didn't go see it in the theaters. I saw it like on DirecTV or something. I'm like, I'll give it a shot. And it's boring. It's so boring.
Kind of where I thought it would be.
And you're probably right. There probably doesn't need to be another Edge of Tomorrow. You guys did good with that one, but sometimes money talks. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we definitely will. I mean, it did leave it open, but I like the way it ended. That was really just to close the story. It's like no matter what he went through, he was able to cycle back to a point where he wanted to go to. And,
sure.
And it just kind of ended with a Tom Cruise kind of chuckle, and I'm just like, perfect.
Yeah.
Ended it.
Don't do anymore. Stop. You're good.
So
I'm out.
But there's not a whole lot. I mean, just see the movie. There's not too much I can say about it without spoiling some plot points and things like that. But there's a kind of a death montage part in the movie where Tom Cruise is continually like, it's like a 5-second clip of another chance that, or another day, another cycle, and there's some comedic reactions to the fact that at some point it gets boring to him because he just knows it's going to happen, and he's gonna wake up in the same place.
The movie's called The Edge of Tomorrow, starring Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, Bill Paxton, also Brendan Gleeson, and Kick Gurry. If you're a fan of Kick Gurry, he's in there as well. Jake, thank you for being on the show. We got more reviews coming your way next, right here on the Screen Team.